welcome back to the craft cupboard. Today I'm going to be testing out some paints from Culture Hustle. I'll be putting them to the test by doing a paint along video, so you'll be finding out just how good they are at the same time I do. Fingers crossed they're good because they cost a lot of money. Let's fucking go, boys! I start by sketching out a design on my iPad. I don't have that kind of fearlessness to go straight in on the canvas. It also gives me the opportunity to tweak things more easily if I want to. Why have I done a rabbit? I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a single woman and lonely. I'm going to go with a dark background and a bright pink foreground to really show off the capabilities of the paints in contrast to one another. I want this piece to have lots of movement, so I'm adding in some gas cloud, farty cloud type toxic cloud things. We'll call them toxic clouds, and that's why Mr. Bum Buns becomes so nerdery. Once that's done, I can send it over to my printer where Panda my cat will oversee the printing and do a quality check. Time to transfer it to my canvas, which is a piece of balsa wood primed with gesso. There's probably an easier way to do this, so if you do know one, just leave it in the comments. To make my transfer, I'll flip the design over and scribble over it with a graphite stick. A regular pencil will work just fine too. I'll stick it down so the artwork doesn't decide to do a runner halfway through, because I will not be able to line up that bad boy in the same place twice. Using a ballpoint pen, I'll trace a design using a decent amount of pressure so I know it's transferred properly. I like to use a blue pen because I can see easily where I've already lined it. Let's see if it worked. Good enough. The products I'm using are White 2.0, Blackest Black 3.0, Pinky aka Barbie Pink, Metallic Gold, and Pinkest Pink Potion. All of these are from Culture Hustle. I'll drop a link in the description. Can we just talk about this for a minute? How cute is that? Oh my god, it's like a proper little Barbie box. So my initial thoughts on the black are, it's a slightly difficult consistency to work to. It's extremely thick, but if you wet the paintbrush a little bit and then dip it in, it tends to make it a little bit too watery. So I don't know if you can see that there. That's just one layer with the water, with the paintbrush dipped in the water. My palette here. This is just one of these little fiddlers, by the way. This is a super good idea. So just a couple of drops of water in the black there, mix it all together, and it makes it much more easy to work with. So it's thin enough that you don't need 2 layers most of the time. You might need to go back a little bit. It's super chalky. It's a really, really matte finish, and there's just no hint of gloss whatsoever. And obviously this is how it gets its Black 3.0, like Blackest Black name, because there's just no reflection there whatsoever. Like, I'm shining this right underneath my big light, and there's just nothing. No light is getting out of that. So it lives up to its name. It is black. It's a little bit, because it is quite thick, it's a little bit hard to work in the tiny details, which is just why I'm just going in with a little Posca pen now. But to be honest, you find that with a lot of acrylics, and that's fine. I mean, it's not a deal breaker for sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the details coloured in with my Posca. Oh, hello. Hi, how are you? It's the next day. I feel like I've done the black a little bit of a disservice by not firstly testing it out before going straight into the canvas, and also not giving it enough space to breathe. I think possibly it will look a lot better over a large area, so I'm going to do a test on a blank canvas, and we'll just use all of the paints and just test them over a larger area, because I think it's just not the appropriate paint to use use with small details. So we'll see how it goes. So here we are, fully dried, one coat, and look at that black. There is no reflection, there is nothing coming off that. That is just incredible. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to double layer these, because these have dried a little bit translucent. You can see where the strokes have overlapped each other, and it is a lot thicker. I will see you when they're dry and see how many layers it takes. So we're back and we're layered up. That's 4 layers. That's looking pretty darn pink to me. I think I like pinky better, but look how bright they both are. This is my Createx Neon Pink. I just wanted to do a bit of a comparison to see just how pink, and these are significantly pinker. Time to paint! I'll be using Pinky to colour the rabbit's fur, and the more acidic Pinkest Pink for the gas clouds. I'll then add some depth to the painting using my airbrush with Createx fluorescent inks. 0.0 and some razzle dazzle with the metallic gold. Now sit back, relax, and let me tell you all about the history and science behind Blackest Black, Culture Hustle, and how they got their reputation. Culture Hustle was founded by British artist and activist Stuart Semple. Semple came into conflict with artist Anish Kapoor. You may remember Anish Kapoor as the artist who made the Orbit Tower for the 2012 Olympics. Well, in 2016, Kapoor purchased exclusive artistic right to the world's blackest material, Vantablack. Vantablack is made of microscopic stems of carbon that are 300 times as tall as they are wide, so that 99.96% of all light gets trapped in the network of stems. The material was being developed for scientific and military use because of its masking ability. It has the potential to hide stealth aircraft and block out stray light reflections inside powerful telescopes, enabling them to see faint astronomical objects. After purchasing the rights to Vantablack in 2016, Kapoor faced backlash from the artist community. Semple positioned himself at the forefront of this backlash when he released Pink, the world's Pinkest Pink, in retaliation. Semple explicitly banned Kapoor from buying the paint. Purchasers of Pink are required to make a legal declaration during the online checkout process, confirming that you are not Anish Kapoor, you are no way affiliated to Anish Kapoor, you are not purchasing this item on behalf of Anish Kapoor, or an associate of Anish Kapoor. To the best of your knowledge, information and belief this paint will not make its way into the hands of Anish Kapoor. So at this part of the painting, I need to do a final layer of black to just make everything look super black and just tidy up some of the sort of overspills we might have got. I think I'm going to use either my golden acrylic or my Citadel colours. The Culture Hustle Black, I think, is just too thick to work on this project. It's not that it's not a good paint, but I just want to get that extra layer of kind of really fluid colour out. And I think I'm just going to have to go to the Old Faithfuls. So down to brass tacks, what do I really think of these paints? Well, it depends on the project you'll be working on. For me, the black was a little tricky to work into the finer details. I used a relatively flat artboard with minimal texture, and you might struggle even more if you use a stretch canvas which has even more texture for the paint to get stuck into. But used on a bigger canvas for a complete light absorbing matte black, I have just never seen anything like it. However, for smaller detailed work, I think I'll be sticking with my golden fluid acrylics. The Pinkest Pink Potion and Pinky are just a touch on the thin side, and I found that they got pushed around the canvas a little bit. However, just a couple of layers and that sorted that right out, especially when I was layering over it with my airbrush shades. The Pinkest Pink is sold as being so pink that a camera won't even pick up just how bright it is. It genuinely seems to actually glow just in regular daylight. Now, the white and the metallic gold were just absolute winners for me, both of them. The white flowed easily and had really opaque coverage, as did the gold. With the gold highlights, I based a couple of them with the white paint, and I did a couple just straight onto the canvas with no base at all, just to see what the difference would be. And in my opinion, you can probably get away with not using a white base on the gold at all. Now, I said earlier in the video that the price of these is high. My regular premium quality acrylics are from Golden brand. As a comparison, I'll go through some of the prices. So the Blackest Black 3.0 for 150 millilitres is £34.99 British pounds. Compare that with Golden Heavy Body Carbon Black is approximately £23 for 180 millilitres. The White 2.0 is £29.99 for 100 millilitres. The Golden Fluid Acrylic is £21.50 for 237 millilitres. Now the Pinkest Pink Potion on the other hand is cheaper, so the Pinkest Pink for 100 millilitres is £16.99, and the nearest comparison I could find was the Golden So Flat Fluorescent Pink, which is £24 for 120 millilitres. So should you invest in them? Well, that depends on how much of your income you're willing to fork out. These are superb paints, and if you're willing to spend out a little more, then I do highly recommend them. But if you're a hobbyist, you're just dipping your toe in, or you're being a little bit more frugal with your money, then there are plenty of other paints on the market that aren't quite as expensive, which will also get the job done. And sometimes creativity is born from working around restrictions. You might just find you learn some new techniques.
Getting them to join the 21st century would be too much to ask for. Everything related to a major investigation is kept on the system, allowing detectives to cross-reference data and avoid the kind of cock-up that made the hunt for the Yorkshire Ripper such an exemplary operation.